Hartog.
Hi Mark, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, we just started without you, but great that you can make it. Maybe you can find a place with a better internet connection, because one of the key problems we always have with this show is that, well, not always, but sometimes our guests don't have a good internet connection and then they drop out, which is a very bad user experience. So is it possible for you to go somewhere with a better connection, or?
Yeah, I can give it a try, but I'm not certain. I can give it a try. Can you hear me now clearly?
Well, if it stays like this, it's fine, but let's see. So welcome, Mark. You're going to convince us today that Next is better than Bitcoin.
Hi, thank you so much, Paul, for having me.
Okay, so first off, who is Marc de Mesel, and why should we care about your opinion on Next?
Well, I've proven in the past that I am able to invest very well. My average return is 30% per year since 2008 included, and very few people in the world have succeeded in that.
Yeah, and we know each other for a few years now. And first, our mutual passion was precious metal, basically, and then slowly but surely we both moved to the Bitcoin space. And recently you published a few successful videos with a lot of views about your decision to invest half of your cryptocurrency into Next. So I think that was 2 months ago. Do you still have 50% Bitcoin, 50% Next of your cryptocurrency portfolio?
Yes, that's still the case. I continued to buy the past 6 months, and it was higher NXT, but now NXT has fallen a bit, so it's just the same again. 50-50 Bitcoin NXT.
Yeah, and so could you describe in a few minutes what Next is, first of all, and why you think it's better than Bitcoin?
Yeah, NXT is a cryptocurrency, decentralized, the same philosophy as Bitcoin. So no central servers and totally distributed. But I think NXT is better than Bitcoin because it solves some problems that Bitcoin has. Bitcoin is now 5 years old, and some problems have surfaced. For example, the mining is not. It just becomes more centralized over time with Bitcoin. So, and actually recently there was one mining pool that had more than 51% of the mining power, which is the same as having like the mining power is validation power. So basically that's one person that could if he had bad intentions, could invalidate transactions that should be validated and validate transactions that should not be validated. Of course, this guy was a good guy because he's a mining pool operator, but if you look at what the cost is for a bad actor, like, for example, through competition, like a central bank, like what would it cost them to have 51% of the mining power? They can realize that with $100 million, and that's nothing. So it's very easy to actually take down Bitcoin, and NXT succeeded in solving that by having a totally different architecture. And the end result is that where with Bitcoin you need maybe 5% of the market capitalization to take it down. Well, with NXT you need not 100%, but you need like 1000% of the market capitalization to take it down. So that's a major improvement. It's like 100 times stronger from that perspective.
Can you explain why you need more than the market cap to take it down if you want to acquire 50% or 51% of the coins with the proof of stake model?
Yeah, because you're never going to get 50% of the coins for half the market cap. If you try to buy up 10% of the coins, you will push up the price already considerably. And if you will, for certain, double it, maybe triple it, if you want 10% of the coins. But if you want 50% of the coins, you will at least tenfold it. At least. Likely a lot more. So,
recently, we saw a hack with Minpel where fairy coins were stolen, and that led the developers to basically use the nuclear option and to roll back the blockchain. Do you think that's the danger of a proof of stake system?
I think it was at the beginning, because at the beginning NXT, as many other proof of stake coins, used what's the name again? Checkups or checkbacks, something that checkpoints, yeah. But that's long out now. Like it's already 6 months not used that way anymore. So there are no hard-coded checkpoints anymore. So yeah, it's practically impossible, I think, to do that. But I'm not well informed on this question. I'm sorry.
Right, that's okay. Jop, what's your take on proof of stake versus proof of work?
Well, yeah, my take on this, and this, what Mark is saying could be actually true, but my problem is more the initial handout of all the coins in the system. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's like it was at inception, all coins are created, and with NXT that was 1 billion coins, and the way they got sold into the market was everybody could pay Bitcoin up to 1 Bitcoin, and about 72 people did that with NXT, and so the 1 billion coins were distributed over these 72 people based on how much Bitcoin they put in, and I think that's a fair system.
So what was the result of that then? Like for example, I will make a disclaimer. I have like 40,000 Nexts myself, so a relatively small amount. But how is it distributed right now? Do you have any insight into who are the big stakeholders and what are the percentages there?
Yeah, it's going down over time. Like in the beginning, you only had 73 people, of which maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 people owned like I don't know, over 30 million coins each. That's 3% of the supply. But it's going down over time. The big accounts get liquidated slowly but steadily. So I have the impression that, well, actually, it's just the fact that it's much better distributed already today than with Bitcoin.
But like how do you know for sure?
Yeah.
People can move coins from one wallet to the other wallet. So how do you know for sure it's more fairly distributed right now?
You're right about that. There is no certainty. You're right. If somebody would do it that way, then indeed there could be one player basically holding 50% of the coins, but that's very unlikely.
Because to get back to your earlier point, that people have to purchase coins in order to get to or they have to acquire coins to get to the majority, and then they will make the price rise. But what if someone acquires coins through leasing or borrowing? Is that possible? And then secretly build up a big stake? Is that possible?
Well, indeed, currently you have leased forging. That's new. But if you look at these pools, like the biggest pool has about 30 million coins leased to him. So that's 3% of the supply. That's the same as the biggest accounts, or two big accounts of 50 million coins of 5% each, and then I don't know. So I don't see a danger in that.
Right. By the way, audience, so far we haven't received questions, but the people that are listening or watching the episode right now, feel free to submit questions. Are there any merchants already accepting? Yeah, tell me, Mark.
Sorry, I should have told from the start. Like, why do I invest in NXT? It's not because it just solves the 51% attack problem. It's also because it's actually a lot more than money. So you in your client you have your money, your NXT coins, but you also have a messaging system that you can send encrypted messages to each other without having to know anything about PHP. It's very user GPG. Sorry, what was it again?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very user friendly, and the government cannot take it down. So I think that's great. And the same for, you can buy stocks and bonds, and you will all own it in the same account behind your same private key, and you can launch IPOs also very cheaply, totally anonymous. Of course, that's why I invest in NXT next to the 51% attack problem.
Right.
I think that's super important.
How many users are there right now? You have any idea?
No, I don't. Sorry. Very
And
low.
any merchants accepting it?
Also very low. We're at the alpaca socks stage here. When you could buy with Bitcoin only alpaca socks, and that was it. It's the same with NXT today. But it's all going a bit faster. Alpaca socks for Bitcoin was after 2 years. NXT is there already today after 6 months. And there are already payment processors that, like GoCoin, that accept Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and also now NXT. So if you want to set up a merchant accepting NXT, they can just start out with GoCoin instead of BitPay, and they can accept NXT right away.
Right. Well, I just I bought some NXT quite some time ago, and I stored it still at Cryptsy, but I just downloaded the client too. But now the client says I need to, so I sent some coins from Cryptsy to my wallet. So I have the Windows wallet, and it now says your account doesn't have a public key. This means it's not as protected as other accounts. You must make an outgoing transaction to fix this issue. Send a message by an alias, send NXT. Can you, what do I have to do now in order to make this fully operational?
Just do one transaction that you can also do it to yourself. Just send yourself one message or one coin, and it's done.
Okay. So are you actually using it then to send messages to other users? Do you have friends that have NXT that you send messages to?
Yeah, but just to get it started. But I think that will certainly come over time. It's starting to rain here. By the way, I'm in Miami. It's very beautiful here. Can you see the skyline?
It looks very grey to me, but...
Yeah.
You just jumped into the ocean, or where
so, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to be in the conference in Chicago this weekend, Mark?
What was your question again?
Are you going to be at the conference in Chicago as well this weekend?
There.
Okay. What I like about the client, by the way, it looks really user friendly, and
no,
you know, with Bitcoin
I will not be there.
And most of the clones. Okay, good. Well, the client, the wallet itself looks very neat especially compared to most of the coins, because most of the coins just copy Bitcoin's client. I like how it looks. It looks very user friendly. Can you tell me a bit more about the asset exchange and what kind of assets are being exchanged there?
Yeah, there are different kind of assets launched already on the exchange. I have the impression the biggest success is actually other altcoins that are not yet launched, but that are traded there already, like the NEM, which is a copy of NXT, is being traded on the exchange. There are also funds, like people that trade cryptocurrencies and then are trying to make profit expressed in NXT. And then you also have exchanges that want to launch an NXT exchange for fiat, and are also launching their asset there to get money from the market. Different kind of companies.
And how would you compare NXT with like the meta coins that are based on Bitcoin, like Mastercoin or Counterparty, or possibly other meta coins like Ethereum? What is your take on that?
Yeah, Ethereum. It's like a wonderful story, but there is no software, so I cannot invest in that, and also not my time and energy. I first want to see something. Mastercoin and Counterparty, I think they chose the wrong path. They actually, on first impression, it looks the best path. Built a decentralized exchange, but built on Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin blockchain, and where you can also buy assets with Bitcoin. But you know, it has a lot of problems. The Bitcoin blockchain is slow. The Bitcoin developers do not cooperate with these parties, and the end result is that, and also the business model is very bad. The people that, like for example, Counterparty, I like that the most, but you can just launch assets on that exchange without having to do without needing the Counterparty currency. You can do everything with Bitcoin. So all the people that actually invest in counterparty and pay up, they don't get rewarded, and so they get frustrated, and so that way it will die probably. You can also see it currently at the amount of assets that are traded on these exchanges. It's very low, and basically they lost the race already. You know,
so
to be the first.
yeah, but do you have some figures for us? How many assets are being traded, for example, on the next platform, comparing to Counterparty or Mustcoin?
Yeah, every day it's about 4 new assets on the NXT exchange. So currently it's about 160 assets in 1-2 months, and on the other exchanges it's like less than 5 or maybe 10, something like that. It's very low.
Yeah, and so how come the market is not believing your story then? What's going on with if I look at the price of Next over the past few months, it's going down a lot, while some other coins have been more steady or climbing a bit. So what's there for? How can you guys make sure that people will embrace your message and you get some more traction?
Well, I think the market is clearly actually embracing NXT. NXT has had the strongest performance of all cryptocurrencies the past half year. They succeeded in becoming third. Now Ripple the past few days became third again, so they are fourth now. But they took out all the competition the past 6 months. So in market capitalization, they gained a serious grounds. But it's only the problem is in the media, in the Bitcoin media, where nobody talks about NXT. But I think that will change over the next half year, because yeah, go ahead.
No, because if you look at the market cap over the past, especially the last 90 days have been bad, right?
Well, it's true. It's not 90 days, but the past few weeks it went down.
I checked it last Wednesday and it was around 55 million. I think currently it's around 42 million total market cap. So
yeah, it's more like since the beginning of June. You had a peak and then you went down from 90 million or so to 50 something or 40. Yeah. Well, I think it's I'm quite. I of course bought something myself because I liked it, and yeah, I don't know why other media are not really. Maybe you should start your own media or be more proactive as a community and develop your own stories.
Well, I think it's a very good platform, but like to introduce it as a killer of Bitcoin or like a competitor even, it uses a lot of different methods. So maybe it should be better to launch it as like this complete separate thing and not trying to hang it up and then the other cryptocurrency that is already there. Maybe that's even more successful. I don't know, but
how do you mean, Jop?
Well, I generally like the idea, but you gave a few examples of what's better in NXT than what is in Bitcoin. But I also know a few examples to know what's better in Bitcoin, or at least what's more open in Bitcoin than it is in NXT. So I think I don't know.
For example?
Well, the method that is used to encrypt your wallet is the brain wallet, right? Well, my personal interest became in Bitcoin because that's open to me. I can do a brain wallet, I can do a cold wallet, I can do a hot wallet, I can do an HD wallet, whatever I want. I am in command of how I use my Bitcoin. And I don't see those options yet, so that's why I'm not that very interested yet in NXT. And I like the chat part, but my angle would be I would have loved those guys to work on the actual like trading products and the NXT stuff instead of like integrating a chat client. You know, that's some things that pop up in my head when I think about NXT. And of course I study it because of I was meeting you this night, but that's some stuff that popped up in my opinion. What's your opinion about that?
Well, I think that. Sorry, I forgot your first point. I want to say something about that.
Wallets.
Oh yeah, sure. You're right. In Bitcoin, you can do all these things and a lot more. The way you secure your wallet. So I agree with that. On that level, NXT is not offering anything innovative. In the end, NXT will offer the same as Bitcoin there, so I don't see a problem that it doesn't offer as much there yet, because that's normal for a starting currency. But And then about the chat client, well, you mean the messaging system within NXT, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think actually that is very important because, of course, I agree the asset exchange is even more important. But I mean, on that level, they outcompete all competition. Okay, a certain feature they don't have, but if you look at the end result, they are the most successful decentralized asset exchange. So they did that very well already. The chat, I think, is super important because there is a vision here. The vision is decentralize everything, I have true privacy when you do stuff online. And so that means for your money, Bitcoin did that, but also for your messages, BitMessage did that also, and so many other applications, and also for your assets. But the thing is, people like it bundled. You know, it's very nice to have an iPhone because it has it all. You know, that's why it's so nice. But it's the same with all these new applications. I think NXT will succeed because it is easy. That's super important. I don't want a different account for my private messages and one for my money and one for my stocks. I don't want that. I want it all in the same account. And that's what NXT succeeds in doing. I think that's very important.
Interesting. Well, I got a question from Annette de Boer. Mark, she's asking, I heard NXT is closed source. Is this true? And if so, how come?
No, that's not true. It's open source, so any new version that comes out, you can fully study. It's totally open source. Only the development itself is not open source, and that's totally acceptable. But once the software is out and everybody downloads it, then it should be open source, and that's fully the case.
Because that's kind of the criticism that I think Vitalik Buterin has on NXT compared to, for example, Ethereum, that they don't want to decide what kind of apps and tools will be built on the platform. That's why they provide a Turing-complete programming language and a platform on which people can build their own applications. With NXT, it's more kind of top-down in a way when it comes to development and tools, or not?
Yeah, I agree with that theoretically, but a theory does not give you something that works. You need operational software. So he invents this great theory, but that has no value in the market. The market wants something that they can use now, and that's what NXT offers. Windows won the race with many others by being the first to market and offering the most user-friendly experience.
So that's basically Bitcoin then, saying Bitcoin being the first. So the argument you're now applying to Next versus Ethereum can also be applied to Bitcoin versus Next, right? I mean, Next might be very easy and all-encompassing, but it's not the first like Bitcoin is.
I agree with you. So there is certainly a risk that NXT fails because it cannot overcome the network effect from Bitcoin. That's true. But the world does not stand still. However, Bitcoin software does seem to stand still. If you compare it to something like NXT, there's just happening nothing at all there. There is no innovation at all within the Bitcoin software. So this is just, if NXT continues to add more, because it's not just exchange, like now they are working on also decentralized store, so that you cannot take down that store and people can sell and buy goods anonymously to each other.
So like a dark market or something like that, open bazaar.
Well, yeah, a private market. So these things are all super important, and I agree. Bitcoin was first to market, but if they stand still, they will lose. You do have to innovate, and it's going way too slow there.
And what are the anonymity factors of NXT? Are they also having some of these features that Darkcoin has, for example, to make payments more or less anonymous? Like completely, because of course Bitcoin is pseudonymous. You can still, if you're not careful as a user, then people can use to track
NXT
your
is the same as Bitcoin. It's pseudo-anonymous, so you have to really think a lot. If you want to be truly anonymous, you have to put a lot of energy in. It's the same with NXT.
Right. Well, that's very interesting. Jop, you have any final questions you want to ask Marc?
Well, no. Well, yeah, I don't completely agree that Bitcoin is standing still, but I can get where Marc's coming from. It's going way too slow at the moment, and NXT is faster. But maybe that's it's because it's close developed. That's why it's going faster, I think. And I still have the opinion that an open development is still better for this kind of revelations. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and it's also something we've of course discussed with Olivier the other day, that as soon as there are better platforms to support development of Bitcoin through bounties and other, for example, Lighthouse that Oliver's backing, maybe afterwards it will be easier to develop Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, maybe it is, but yeah, you got to give him the credits for that. NXT is moving faster at this moment. Only I still don't agree that you can hand out coins by using a POS. It's a very safe system when the coins are handed out, but yeah, I'm still questioning how that all went through, and I need to look into that to be sure that I find that safe. But I think everybody should look very deep into a coin before they invest. So.
Exactly. Well, that's good advice. Marc, any closing remarks from your side, and where can people find you online?
Yes, just if you look why I sold half my Bitcoins for NXT, you'll find my YouTube channel. I just want to say that I think this is an amazing opportunity for you, Paul, and for you, Jop, and for everybody who's watching. I really think it's worthwhile to critically look at why you rejected, because that's the only way to make money. I rejected Bitcoin way too long, and luckily I did challenge my own rejections. In 2012 it was only $13, but I bought too less. I only bought for 10% of my capital, but still it was a major success. But the same applies today. NXT is not the darling at all, but Bitcoin was not the darling at all neither in 2012, when all gold investors were totally neglecting it and rejecting it with false arguments. And so I am here. I'm always willing to help talk more about it and try to show why I think the argument is not valid, why you reject it, but in the end you will have to do it yourself. And I really do hope you do that, because today it is cheap, and the moment the market really starts to recognize that the existence of NXT has a lot of validation, then it will have gone up a lot already. The opportunity is here because most people reject it.
Right. Well, that's
nice. Let me make sure, Marc, I don't reject it. Mm-hmm. I just reject that it would be better as NXT. I think it's not comparable. I won't reject it at all. Let me be very sure.
But how much of your capital have you invested in it?
Oh, that's way too low if you look in that kind of stakes. Yeah, it's less than 1%.
Yeah, well, but that's super important, because most people did exactly the same with Bitcoin 2 years ago. Even the people that believed in it, like, hey, you bought, Paul, I'm really impressed. But likely it's a very low amount. But it was the same with Bitcoin. Even the people that believed in it, they just buy a little bit and then they say, only invest with the money you can afford to lose, and at the same time they invest loads of their capital into real estate and into gold. Well, sorry, but that's not the right way to invest your capital.
I have 40,000 next, so it's like that's like 3 Bitcoins. So if the price indeed goes to times 100, as I think you're saying, maybe then I'm happy. So the thing is, like, I bought also quite a few altcoins that I held for some time, and then some of them went down the drain. So I'm a bit cautious, but I'm definitely quite interested in Next, and possibly I'll add to my portfolio of Next coins.
Yeah. The amount of coins it does not matter. What matters is how much % of your capital. That's what matters. Yeah. I think.
Exactly. Okay, Marc, we're running out of time, but thank you so much, and just to stay online a little bit after I stop the broadcast, and would be nice to have a chat with you again in a few months to see how Next is doing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul, for having me. I really appreciate this a lot, and I'm also giving away free NXT because I invest a lot of money to it. If it fails, I will lose a lot. and so I'm giving away free NXT to people that are making the effort to contact me personally and write a few lines, and I will send you then a really nice amount.
Cool.
And my
so
email
there's a faucet here. So you'll be new next Jesus then, like the Roger Ver of next.
Indeed, I hope so.
Nice.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jop.
Thanks.
Bye.